Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. And look, it's that time of year. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about weather. We're going to spend a lot of time, hopefully, talking about hurricane preparedness and not hurricanes. But the best person to do that with, my friend and colleague, Earl Hughes. Earl, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Keith, great to be here.
We appreciate it very much. Of course, Earl is Director of Terrebonne Parish Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. And, Earl, we talked about this just a couple of weeks ago, but this early forecasting is really nice, and they're going to do 7-day outlook, but it's almost like we've ramped up before June 1st. Tell us a little bit about this decision.
Yeah, well, the National Weather Service decided last year, a year before, to start issuing forecasts before the official start of hurricane season, which is June 1st. So they start on May 15th issuing tropical forecasts of what's maybe out there, what may be developing. And a difference from last year to this year is that they will be a 7-day forecast instead of the 5-day forecast. So if you've been watching some of the weather programs and on other news agencies and like the Weather Channel and everything, they're showing that tropical forecast, and they started on the 15th.
On the 15th. And so here we are. It's almost like, man, like June 1st didn't get here soon enough, right? And here we are in 5/15 on May 15th, really kind of thinking about that first 7-day forecast.
Yeah, I mean, we're 14 days away from June 1st. I hate to say that, but
we just are.
Hurricane season is here.
It is upon us.
It is upon us, and people need to be aware of that. They need to start, getting their preparations and getting their kits together and their go kits and making their plans on where they're going to evacuate if that's called upon, and especially those who are still in temporary housing. To make a plan on where you're going to go in the event that we have some type of tropical system affecting Terrebonne Parish.
And I'm glad you said it that way. We need to think differently than we have probably in years past because, again, with that volume of people, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that and some of the things that people need to do if they're in temporary housing, but those people who are in campers, who are living in campers, I know they're strapped down, but again, if we get tropical storm winds, we need to be concerned about that, and sheltering is going to be available.
That's correct. We provided sheltering last year for a lot more residents that were in temporary housing. We had that planned out. We still have a plan on where to put those that are continuing to be housed in temporary housing. So we're ready in the event that we have to.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Last year, in fact, case in point, on a Wednesday, I was going to see a patient, and this patient said, "You can't come today." She said, "I'm not going to be here." She said, "There's some tropical storm winds that are potential for tonight. I'm going to a relative's house." And I said, I could not be more excited to miss this visit, not come see you, because she was thinking ahead of time. And this was just a rather routine storm with high winds.
Yeah, like a thunderstorm.
Yeah,
Severe thunderstorm.
but people were paying attention to that. And so I am expecting and quite frankly hoping that people have been listening and heeding these warnings about the fact that we just need to be a little bit more vigilant. Especially if you're in that temporary housing.
Yeah, and another thing I'd like to make residents aware of is there is highway construction work being done right now in New Iberia.
It's already started.
It's already started. They are down to 2 lanes, an eastbound lane and a westbound lane.
One each.
One each. That will continue through hurricane season. And we have many, many residents who use Highway 90 and evacuate towards Lafayette. Mm-hmm. So if that is your plan, then you need to give yourself plenty time to evacuate, because you may be in 2 to 3 hour traffic with that. Even though there will be a detour, you will still be maybe in 2 to 3 hours of a traffic queue.
And know that ahead of time as it relates to gas.
I
mean, look, think about that.
Right.
I don't know if people prepare for themselves to be in traffic for 2 to 3 hours, but if you are, you need to have a gas plan.
Right. And look at where that location is on a map before you leave. You may want to take the exit before to use the restroom in case you are in traffic for 2 to 3 hours. Just kind of plan for yourself. What we're going to ask people to do is to use Highway 308 and LA1 to evacuate north to Interstate 10,
Right.
and also use Highway 20 going through Chack Bay and Vacherie in that area, crossing the Grandma Letcher Bridge or the Veterans Memorial Bridge
right.
to get to I-10 to try to alleviate some of that traffic going through Highway 90.
Yeah, and it's just one thing that we need to be prepared for. So I appreciate you bringing that up. You know, state troopers brought that up when they were meeting with us and just talking about the fact that those road closures make a difference. They just do. I mean, you and I know that we've had one lane, just one lane in front of both of our offices.
Right.
One lane here, one lane in front of the office where you guys are located at the EOC, and it's backed up rather dramatically, some, 15, 20, 30-minute delays sometimes. Imagine if we had 8 to 10 times more traffic trying to go through in an evacuation, trying to get through it.
And what I'll try to do, Keith, is we'll try to get some graphics the next time I'm on to show where that construction work is and kind of show some alternate routes that people can use.
Yeah, and again, people in that area kind of know those alternate routes, because they're a little more familiar with that. We know that we've been needing some road construction there for some time. But some of us that live a little bit farther east or a little bit farther south of there don't necessarily know. That would be a great idea.
Right.
And so I appreciate that. And so, again, here we are just thinking about the situation that we're faced with this particular hurricane season. One of those is on May 15th, they started this preparation for the 7-day forecasting, and the fact that we have some different road closures that are different every year. Stick around for a little bit longer?
Yes, sir.
We appreciate that. All right, guys, Earl's going to stick around. You do that as well. We'll be right back on this edition of Bayou Time after this short commercial break.